Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Make sure to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content. Well, it seems to be a bit of a turn up for the books. We've got two brand new alien support cards which are coming out of the Dawn of Majesty. This is the brand new set which is being released within the OCG and we'll get it a few months after they do. First card is Alien Buster. This is a level 4 light attribute reptile type effect monster with 1700 attack and 1500 defense. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. 1. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster, place 2 A counters on it. 2. During your main phase, except during the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one card on the field with an A counter and destroy it. I love the design of this card. I think it's really necessary for how the deck likes to work. For anyone who isn't aware, the aliens work on these A counters, which is part of a whole strategy. There was a whole generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you had focusing on various types of counters, and this was one of those archetypes that supported that. A counters would do a couple of things. It would either reduce the attack stat of your opponent's monsters, or it could swap control of those monsters, or it could destroy those monsters. This card, whenever it's sent to the graveyard, that means it could be sent by yourself. As a tribute, you do have a level 6 and you do have a level 7 version of the alien monsters, so that's very easy to do. You can use it for a link summon. They do have a link monster as well, which was introduced maybe 1-2 years ago. And you do have other ways of trying to tribute this card and just sacrifice this card to be able to use its effect, so it's nice that it doesn't have to be just destroyed by battle or card effect. And it distributes these A counters on any monsters, so it can be your own or it can be your opponent's, so long as they are face up. The secondary ability is nice because this provides a destruction effect, so you could just destroy the monster that you A counters on with this card, but the only downside is you can't use it on the same turn as this card goes to the graveyard. I'm not quite sure if there's any banish support for this type. I think there is a way of you reviving this card. If not, there are some generic cards that do revive or at least return your monsters from the banish pile to the graveyard, in which case you can then bring them back by various effects. The second card, and probably the more interesting one, is they're introducing a brand new Link monster, a more powerful version. This is Cosmic Pincer Ze'loor. It's a Link 3 light attribute reptile type Link effect monster with 2600 attack. The link points are the top, the bottom left, and the bottom right. And its materials, it needs 2 or more reptile type monsters. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. 1. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 card with an effect that places A counters from your deck to your hand. 2. You can remove 2 A counters from the field. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 reptile type monster. And 3, while this card is in the main monster zone, monsters your opponent controls with A counters are changed to defense position and cannot activate their effects. So we're going to have a quick breakdown of what these actually do. Its attack stat is quite decent. 2600 is nothing to sneeze at. Being a Link 3, very predictable, quite easy to get out anyway. You can special summon more of these monsters. The first effect, to be able to just search for any monster that allows A counters to be produced, means you can go for a monster, a spell, or a trap card. Limited to 1 of those 3. It's any of those 3, providing you with that much more flexibility. The secondary effect, to be able to just remove 2 A counters to just normal summon in addition, can be from anyone's field. It can be from your own or it can be from your opponent's. That means if you've used Alien Buster and it's gone to the graveyard to bring this card out, you're then able to use this effect immediately, so you can establish that board presence much more quickly. So there's the synergy from that aspect. And the third effect, and this is the crucial part of this card, to be able to just shut down your opponent's monsters with their effects is brilliant, because you can think of it as a skill drain that's one-sided. It stops all of your opponent's monsters from being able to use their abilities, provided you can continuously just keep adding A counters onto your opponent's monsters. The one concern I have with this card is it does switch them to defense position. Yeah, that's fine. That's really good because that actually stops them from going into a battle phase and running over your monsters. One of the biggest downsides of a lot of the aliens is they don't tend to have anything over this 2,600 attack threshold, and so they're susceptible to destruction, monster effect destruction, spell effect, trap effect, and you don't have any recourse for that. But with the Link era, Link monsters don't go to defense mode, so its third effect is already negated from one set of monsters. In the same way that if you think of with the Xyz era, when that came into effect, anything that affected levels, be it Burn of the Mighty, Area Limit, Area B, any of those types of cards, anything that affected levels didn't work because Xyz monsters had ranks. So it's already kind of outclassed by cards that already exist. And if you think Link monsters are going away, I'm sorry to say, they're not going to be instantly getting rid of something just to forego it into something else. I mean, it being a Link monster is subject to facing other Link monsters, unfortunately. Maybe down the road they'll get a Link 4, potentially, to be able to power it up in a way where it can actually, counter those Link monsters, but we have to wait for the future for that.